Stifler. Ask everyone to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10. Their looks, physical looks, scale 1 to 10. We'll start with you. We'll go around the table. Go ahead.
8.
So 8.5.
8, 8.5.
I'm a 10.
7.
8.
6.5.
I'd say 7.58.
4.
That's lower than last time.
Yeah.
I used to say 6. I'm a 5.
In front of all these beautiful women, how could I ever not humble myself down to a 4, really?
Proud of you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Took guts.
I'm a 5. I give myself a 5. So wait, 8, 8.5, 10, 7? 8? Okay. All right.
Brian, you rated yourself lower than usual.
Yeah, I've been
Wait, what
getting a
did you
little
rate
chubby.
yourself?
6.5.
See, now that's humble.
Yeah, that's humility.
That's
right there.
humble. That's humility. Right? That's the thing that's usually harder for men to do. Just say it. Just point it out.
I've noticed a pattern here. I think men tend to fairly accurately self-assess their own level of physical attractiveness, whereas
I've heard
women
men
not
have
so much.
more self-esteem issues than women do.
What's that?
I've heard men have more self-esteem issues than women do.
I feel like I disagree a little.
Why would you say that?
Just, and I also heard that they're also more emotional.
Are they?
Who have you heard these
Yeah,
things
because,
from?
well, I mean, you guys will act off based off pride, and that is going to be like an emotion thing, not necessarily logic.
Okay.
Do you think
But-
men or women have more cosmetic surgery?
I think probably women.
Yeah, probably women. Do you think that that's because they have way more self-esteem than men?
I
a good
don't
point.
think that necessarily what I'm talking about is the same thing. I just mean
Nah,
like,
well, I think it is.
Symmetric.
well, for instance, you just rated yourself a 4, right?
Yeah.
And maybe people may not agree with you, and I just rated myself a 10, and people may not agree with me, right? But we're just talking about simple our self-esteem. My self-esteem is clearly higher.
No,
than yours.
I'm not sure that we are. I think that what we're talking about is a value judgment. And I think that I'm making a way better value judgment than the value judgment that you're making. So the value judgment that I'm making is this. I'm old, and I'm married, and I'm out of shape, and I smoke, right? And I'm not a very pleasant person to be around for long periods of time, especially for the opposite sex. Like, I know all of these things about myself. So my value judgment overall is a 4. Tell me the value judgment of how you came to a 10.
Oh yeah, I just think that in general we should think that we are great.
Right, so you just decided it with, there's no value judgment there, you just decided it.
Yeah, he asked me what I would rate myself, and
Yeah.
because it's my opinion
Looks.
about myself,
Just looks.
I'm it took a long time for me to love myself, and I do now. And so yeah, I think that, like, you know, I'm a Misty 10.
I have a question for you. Wait, hold on, just one sec. Do you
And
think?
you're a 7.5?
I said 8.
Oh.
Yeah, get it right.
How
Andrew.
did you
Get
come,
it right,
how did you
Andrew.
come to that value judgment?
Because I don't put within my value within a rigidity. That's not the right word. Rigidity. Thank
Rigidity,
you.
yeah.
I don't put that within that rigidity of certain, I guess,
Value judgments.
more subjective opinions about what value is, because I know my value, I know my worth, and I know my beauty that I hold within myself for myself, and that is appreciated by other people, because at the end of the day, beauty is subjective, and it is absolutely within my right to hold myself to a higher value in how I conduct myself in the world around me.
Yeah, but when you're talking about the value judgment here, my wife, I'm sure that she has a way higher value judgment of me than I have of me. I would agree that she probably should. From her subjective assessment, she probably thinks I'm a great provider. She thinks I'm a great father. She thinks I take care of all of my responsibilities and duties. She can 100% trust me. So she probably has this really high value judgment of me. But when I'm doing an actual assessment of me, like Andrew Wilson, the person, and my looks and how it's reflected outwards to other people, right? I'm adding this value, this value, this value, this value, this value, like a mathematical formula to come up with that equals 4. What are you doing to come up with that other than I just think that we should have high self-esteem because I just think so.
Because I know I'm a good person. Because frankly, if we want to get aesthetic, I don't have a busted face. I'm fat. And if people want to reduce my value because of my fatness, that's not my problem, and that is not the ideology I hold for myself. I am someone who is pursuing weight loss, not for aesthetics, not for looks, but for my health. And it is something I'm moving forward with because I have been for the past 2 to 3 years now working on my self-love and loving myself into a place to care enough about myself to take my health back into control. When I was being consistently shamed, when I was gang stalked on r/fat people hate in 2015, when I have
Looks like it worked.
I'm still speaking.
I mean, it looks like it works.
I'm still
right?
speaking.
It
and you
works
get-
because you're going to
you know,
change.
you're really great at over talking and being disrespectful, and I'd love the opportunity to get my point across.
Okay, but so just to cut in here a little bit, the original question was rate your looks because
Yeah.
you mentioned your personality. You have a great personality or whatever it is.
And like I said, my fatness doesn't devalue me.
Why?
So I'm an 8.
Why doesn't it?
Because I think that fat
'Cause you
can be beautiful. It's my assessment of my looks, right?
Yeah, but why
okay.
is it that your
Why
own
ask
assessment
her
of
to
your
tell her
looks
that her
has
perception's wrong?
nothing to do with how the external world perceives you? That's my
Because
problem.
I don't give a
how
shit.
can you
Right, because you don't
decide?
care, so there's no
I
real
don't care
value
about.
judgment.
I don't care about other people's
how can
opinion
the-
of
how
me.
can
It's
you
not more
speak for
important
the
than the
rest
opinion
of
of
the
I hold of
world?
myself.
Yeah,
and
it
if you
is.
don't- If you don't live that way, that sucks for you.
If there's a value judgment of how you would self-assess your own looks, the only possible conceivable metric I could even think of would be the perception of how other people view you for your value judgment
And
of
I
how
was in a
you
relationship for
How would
almost
you
8
know
years with
about
someone
that,
who
though?
thought my
How would you-
body
how could he-
was
how could
the
you ever
most
come up with a
beautiful
metric?
thing
But
he had
that's what I'm saying.
ever
You
seen.
decided that was perceptive.
And
You
he
just
had told
decided
me that
those are the things that you
more
were gonna
often
hold
than
her.
not.
Go ahead.
He had told me that more often
Wait,
than
can
not.
you speak certain to
Yeah,
me?
he had told me that more often than not. I have been pursued by many men who think I am gorgeous and beautiful. That perception exists whether you have it or not.
Okay, so assume for a second, I can assume inside of, I can envision a world where you're the only human being who's inside of the
And
world.
guess what? I'll
And
never
if
be
you're
the only one who thinks I'm
if
hot,
you're-
and I know that bugs the shit out of you,
If you're the
dude.
only human being who's inside of a
of
world,
his own
I can
low
perceive,
self-esteem opinion.
I can perceive that I can come up with whatever metric I want for myself because I have nothing to compare it to. So if I have nothing to compare it to and I have nobody else's value judgment, then I can say I'm the most beautiful person who's ever lived, and that would be true. But if I have
asked
the
us our
value
opinions.
judgment of hundreds of millions of people
What do
to
you mean?
compare the standard to, and I know that I'm below that threshold and just decide that I'm above that threshold anyway,
I'm not the only
that's not
person who
based
makes
on
that
anything
decision.
objective. You're just making shit up.
No,
He
I'm
literally
not,
asked us
babe.
our opinion. So yes, it was a made-up opinion from us.
Yeah, it is. For sure.
Yeah,
It's
but that
way
was the point.
overstated.
That
what's
was the
true.
point. The only person who's not happy
Your
about that is you.
perception of your truth is not the same for myself or,
Thank you.
or
Amen,
anyone
Hubba
else.
Back.
Yeah, what is truth in a world
And
that
also,
you're
and,
an eight?
what societal standards in which country?
I must
In
bug the
every
shit out of
country
you.
on planet Earth, she's not an
Respectfully-
8.
Wait, what?
You're ridiculous.
I don't-
It's ridiculous.
In
Let's,
different
let's
places,
be
different
nice.
people
Let's
like
keep
different
things
things.
Yeah, he's so combative, bro. It's wild.
Well,
He gets very upset and then
I
he turns
live,
into
I
a
live
heel.
in reality. Do you know what
And
reality
that
is?
is the bottom line here, and I've been respectful. We're how many
It's not
hours in?
disrespectful. I'm just telling you what's true.
Oh, what was
I think
the
it's
what
like
was
the
the about me
energy.
being a mother, bro?
that
the
was
energy
me.
you put towards it.
That was me
Guys,
being
let's,
able to.
No,
It's
I'm not.
interesting-
I'm
it's
not
interesting to
gonna.
claim-
I've been taking it respectfully for hours now.
But to be fair, also, it's interesting to claim to be so religious and so close to Jesus and be so negative.
To tell the truth?
No, I'm just saying, just to be so
What would
negative.
Jesus do? He'd be
would
like, "You're a 10,
he would literally
sweetheart.
turn the
Forget
other cheek.
objective
He would
reality."
turn the other cheek.
if I believed
He
in
would
Jesus,
turn the
he
other
would love
cheek.
me as one of God's children.
Yes.
He would have known that
Yes.
it's my
Your
journey and my
negativity is
life.
But he would know
embarrassing
you're
to the
fat too,
religious
whether he
claim
loved
that
you
Yeah,
or not.
and you know what? Being fat is not bad.
It's embarrassing though to
And
claim
that's
the
the
religion you
fundamental
have.
disagreement we
Which
have.
is how
Insane.
negative.
It's just fucking crazy.
It is. Yeah,
Like-
there's going to be other people who are going to be like, I don't claim this because it's like this is part of the reason why you're hypocritical.
There's
It's
no
like
hypocrisy.
You claiming to love and be this one big thing, and then to be so negative instead of encouraging or say even anything in actually
Love thy neighbor
the
unless
best
you're
form
fat,
of
right?
encouragement
in
is what
actually
she's
a
getting.
constructive way, you kind of just get pink and start yelling.
The only way, the only way
Yeah, he gets real like.
The only way
Pink and
that I
starts
can get a word in when you shrill harpies are screeching is for me to talk loudly.
Oh no, you're really great at
You'll
over
do it
talking. It's one of your
regardless.
best
You've been doing
qualities.
it
You've
respectfully.
Well, I have to
tonight.
cut down on the prattle. That's true.
Push back on Pink after all of that.
I'm a terrible moderator. Okay, I'm a dog shit moderator. Okay, hold on. Let me just come in really quick. Let me just come in. All right, put your swords away for just a sec. The views expressed by the panelists do not necessarily reflect the views of me or the whatever podcast. Now, you said... Okay, I have a question for you.
What?
Do you I think you said women should view themselves better.
Not just women, people in general.
Oh, in general. But so do you think all women should view themselves as 10s?
I would love them to, yes, and not because everyone also agrees with them.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are all women 10s?
I'm attracted to men.
No, I'm not saying whether you're attracted to them, but I'm
Yeah,
sure
so
you
but
could.
that
I'm
has
sure
to
you
do
can
with- it's
recognize a
perceptive.
beautiful woman.
perceptive.
But do you think all women are 10s?
In their own right, for sure.
What? Not sure what that means, but okay. Are all men 10s?
In their own right, for sure.
No, but do you think all men are 10s?
In their own right, for sure.
I don't really understand. In their own right, for sure.
I can appreciate things that I'm not necessarily attracted to. Does that make sense?
But do you think?
So in your eye, are all men 10s? Like just aesthetically, so just by looks.
And women.
Okay, so
and women.
Okay.
Because I know that someone thinks they're a 10, in my mind, that's good enough to be part of the 10, yes. Would I necessarily date them? Maybe not.
Well-
but as far as like believing they're a 10, I know, for instance, is ice cream bad just because someone doesn't like the ice cream? No, everyone's gonna have their different opinion of it. And so the fact that someone likes green mint ice cream, for me, it might not be my percent, but does it make it bad ice cream? No, it could still be good ice cream. So for that person, maybe they're not necessarily, would I date them, but do I believe they should think they are a 10 is what I said earlier. Yes, I believe they should think they are a 10. I think all people should love
So
themselves.
if we ask the question a
it
different
sucks
way,
so much to not love yourself.
and said if you mapped it onto reality, if you just mapped it onto reality,
Okay,
then
so I
what
was
would you
talking
say?
about some other thing.
Yeah, what would you say then if you mapped it onto reality?
What do you mean?
Are all women's 10 if you mapped it onto reality, rather than how you kind of subjectively feel like they should feel about themselves?
Yeah.
If you were to map it onto reality outside of that subjective
I
analysis,
think it would vary depending on where I'm at.
You're in Kazakhstan.
I don't know what the women are
So
like. though.
what would you
Pretty
say?
hot, I'd
For
say.
example, what would you
Pretty
say?
stacked.
What would you say Scarlett Johansson would be aesthetically, cross culturally to most men? Do you think
guess
most
it
men would
depends on
find her
which
attractive?
country.
Russian milk.
It depends on I'm only talking from someone who you guys all would not find to be attractive. Like, I'm not someone you're into, but I know there's men who think that I'm the shit. And of different countries I go, like we were talking about it last time, like I might be like, and someone was clowning, they're like, she's not a Seattle 10, but like, I think it really depends on where you're at.
what country could Scarlett Johansson be considered not pretty in?
I don't know, I haven't been to all the countries.
Could you even envision that there is one?
I could, yeah.
You could?
What would you
could.
speculate?
I would speculate
She's okay, I
that
mean.
the area where it would be attractive would be in a culture where the people look like that.
Like Sweden.
So you don't
Scandinavian
think?
countries.
So what you saying? Europe, just Europe in general?
I mean, sure, it depends on, I just think
you
it
don't think
depends.
Africa either?
It depends. I'm probably South Africa. I don't know. I mean, it just depends. Like, I'm going to go different places and people are going to receive me different. I was considered to be beautiful in China, but not necessarily someone they would be attracted to, if that makes sense. And when I went to Trinidad, I was the shit. In California, people don't really care that much because I'm not necessarily their societal standards of beauty. So I really think it depends on where I'm at or where the person's at.
I'm not trying to be mean here, but
No one's a 10.
Facts.
I don't think you're a 10.
I know, you said that.
What did she say?
7.
See, look, Catholic. That's why it's Catholic.
I was raised Catholic. What does that have to do with anything?
Here we have another conversational thread here that we can
What does
get
that have to do with
into. Misty, last time we were on, we got into a big fun debate. We were talking about the patriarchy and systems
Oh my God.
and oppressor oppressed. We
remember
talked
those
about
words.
white men. You remember?
Can't remember.
Now
no.
I have the ultimate representative here of the patriarchy. And I was hoping that you guys could have a calm and collected conversation about
I don't know.
patriarchy and systems of the oppressors and the oppressed, white men.
You want a white male to have a conversation about who's oppressed with a black female?
Yes.
That sounds
Yeah.
dope. Not gonna lie.
The white half of you.
I
The
don't
white
know
half
that
of
I
you.
need to have. Thank you. I don't know
Wait,
that
we
I've
got a
got
black
that
guy
on my
here? What
shoulder. I know. I just don't know that I've got that all
got-
in my
we
heart
got
right now. I
Q.
came here to talk about dating. I don't want to
You're
talk
male.
about
Oh.
that with my grandfather.
Wait, who's your grandfather?
Sorry, my grandfather's also a white male, so
you-
I was just
are you
like, I don't
talking
want to
about-
have that.
Did you just say something rather ageist?
No, I'm talking
I'm
about.
deeply offended that
I'm
you would
talking
refer
about
to
experiences
Andrew
and, like,
as a.
I was raised by a white male and a white female, and so
Yeah.
the experiences we have are so vastly different that I'm just not even interested in going down that road.
That's like standpoint theory.
Respectfully, it's a lot. It for me, it's just it's a
Where's
lot
Madison?
emotionally to have to like pack that. And I know you make us not understand, but it's
No, I understand. It's called standpoint theory.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
feminist standpoint theory, they went back through and rewrote all of literally, I'm not kidding, they rewrote all of American history from the perspective of women because they felt like just giving a detailed actual historic analysis wasn't fair because had to come from the perspective of women. So that's what you're talking about. It's called standpoint theory.
I don't know that I was talking about that.
Well, it's the same exact thing. You're saying because my experience is so vastly different, our perspectives are going to be vastly different, right? But then the question comes down to, well, which perspective should we listen to?
No, it's not that. It's
right?
just that I don't want to.
No, okay, that's fine.
Okay. Well, maybe we can get back there
I
a
wanna talk
little
about
bit
dating,
later.
maybe.
Oh, let's talk about
I
dating.
was like, that's
Okay,
not
fine.
really related to dating,
Sure.
is it?
Well,
Not at all.
feminism, I think that's
about,
very much
women's
related to dating because
is.
feminism,
Definitely is.
feminism. Okay, so here, you want to talk about dating? Let's talk about dating.
Let's talk about dating.
Let's talk about body count.
God.
Let's talk about body count.
Stupid.
Do you object? Because a lot of times men care a lot about this. Do you object to men caring about a woman's body count? Starting with you.
I just think body count's arbitrary.
Arbitrary. Okay. All right. Farah, what about you?
I think I've said before, if the man is also highly selective and disciplined, I think it's totally his prerogative to prefer a woman with a low body count.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I don't have a issue with it.
Is it immature?
I'm sorry?
Is it immature for a guy to care about body count? The past is the past.
I really believe that you should get what you want, and if that's something that you want, go for it. Now, would it make me feel sad if I decided if I wasn't part of your crew and I liked you and because of my body count you were not interested? For sure, but will I live? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're about to be asked a question. You could have started this.
There's not room here.
Yeah, there's no room.
Okay.
I feel
Is there room
like
for you, Madison? Let's come this way a little bit.
Nar.
If he takes his leg out, then yes, but
I feel like it's up to the person, to be honest. Like the girl. I mean, if she doesn't mind. Wait, it's up the guy, right?
How do you feel about
Either
men who care about
Do
body?
you object to men having a preference in body count?
Like if.
No, because it's their
Okay.
choice,
All right.
right?
Catholic.
All right.
I do not object.
Okay. You said it was arbitrary.
Yeah, so to go back
That's
on
why
whether I
you're
object or
winning right
not,
now.
I just think that at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's their individual right to choose if they care about that aspect or not. Because for both sides, that's like the aspect I don't care about from
Right.
my perspective. So if someone has that, then that's not a compatibility factor for us, and that's fine with me.
Well, arbitrary means without system. So it's not arbitrary. We have a system in place to know what this is, which is how many men a woman's been with. That's the system. So it's not really arbitrary. You make a distinction that it doesn't mean anything or it's not important to you, but it's definitely not arbitrary. So I just like backing up, I'm just curious, why do you think from the man's perspective, if the preference is to hold the double standard, which is that we find it to be very important, you don't find it to be important, do you think we're holding a double standard?
I think this double standard exists if a man has a high body count and refuses to be with women with a low body or high.
But that doesn't
body
make it
count.
wrong. It's
Or-
it is a double standard.
It's a double standard, but it's
by definition.
It's what they choose to do, and I'm just not really in the business of telling men what I think they should or shouldn't do if I'm not interested in having them as friends or partners. So it's just like
Going around the table once more. So, some of you said body count doesn't really matter. Don't object to, or you do object perhaps to men caring about body count. You think it shouldn't matter so much. You think it shouldn't be such a big deal. What's your body count?
I don't have an exact number. I have an idea.
Range is fine.
Probably somewhere between 50 to 60.
50 to 60, okay. Farah?
0.
into the mic.
0.
Okay.
Now, just real quick, because after the last panel, when you said that, a ton of people went nutso in my Discord and said that they had video of you saying the opposite of that. And that you basically are just LARPing and just pretending that that's true. And I'm not saying that they're right, because I don't know. I'm just saying that that's what they say.
If I had to guess what they're responding to is I make skits on TikTok, kind of like satirical skits about discussions of gender. So I have like an off-screen male voice. So he'll ask me a question, or I'll read a question being like, what's your body count? And it's all scripted, and I'll say something like 8, and then he'll say like, that's disgusting, and I'll ask him like a question response. So they're responding to like, skits.
Okay, because every time I've talked with you, it's always been the same. So I have no reason to doubt it, but I had seen that, so I thought I'd ask.
Oh, I don't share.
Range? You want to do a
I
range?
don't share.
Range?
I don't share.
Okay.
Probably like 8
Probably like 8.
or 9.
Or 10?
8 or 9.
Or 10?
No, not 10.
8 or 9. Okay. All right.
Not 10.
I will not be sharing.
Maddie?
What?
Okay. Well, you've shared before.
Yeah,
She has a boyfriend.
I do.
Multiply it by 3, and that's the real number.
So wait. I mean, that doesn't apply to me. Let me be clear. I wouldn't. I mean, if I'm saying that high of a number, if it was higher, I would say it was higher. I would say what it was.
Okay.
Just to be clear, I don't think that rule applies to this situation. Next time you have to say 20 because you know they're already going to multiply.
Yeah, so actually
That
it's
was well
20.
done.
Okay. So, okay. Got it. Cool. Good talk.
Wait, Brian,
All right.
how many are you at? We just skipped you, and we skipped all the men.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. We'll do the men. We'll do the guys.
Yeah, what do you
Okay.
mean? Why would we not do the men?
I don't know. I lost count. I've been around the block.
Have you said it before on the show?
Yeah, I have said it.
What is it?
I said it was probably between 50 and 60.
Oh,
Multiply by
look
that
at
3,
that.
and you have the number.
You guys got something in common.
I think the quote in the movie is like divided by 3 for men.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because men will lie.
You should have
But
said
I lost
150, bro.
Mason?
0.
Oh, I'm married. I can't disclose that kind of information. If you're not willing to, I'll tell you what. I'll go if you go.
No, we won't be doing that.
No. I'll go if
I'm
you
not
go.
married. I'm not doing that.
Oh.
When
Yeah, I
I lock
know.
something down,
that's
then we
fine.
can come back here. I got you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Okay.
Why
I
would
don't
that
know what
be?
that has to do with anything.
Yeah.
I'll definitely go if you go.
Yeah, no, I don't really care
He'll go.
that much
Did
to
you
share it with you.
save yourself for marriage?
Huh?
Did you save yourself for marriage?
If I show you yours, you show me mine. The hell?
Okay, all right.